Hopefully they're the fatah. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Right. So let's look at ibadat. So ibadat, why ibadat first and what is ibadat? So we're going to start with ibadat. So we know what fiqh is, the do's and don'ts of Islam, simply put. There's something called ibadat, there's something called mu'amalat, and different facets of deen. Islam touches all facets of deen. Ibadat are those actions between us and Allah, like salah, zakah, hajj, right? And then mu'amalat has to do with the actions between us and other people, like business transactions, the different types of business transactions, loaning, leasing, how we sell things, and the laws pertaining to that. That's called mu'amalat transactions. But here we're dealing with ibadat first. Ibadat are those actions between ourselves and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this was preceded. Why? Because it's most important in life. What is most important is our relationship with Allah. Today you find that there's people that are very into Facebook, right? And when you have Facebook, you have certain profiles. Even in WhatsApp, you have certain profiles, and people are continuously updating their statuses and their profiles. Some just for the joke of it, but some also to get more likes and to get more fame. So the more likes you get, the better and the more famous you are with regards to people. And mostly, if you are in that situation, sometimes you forget about your likes with Allah. So every time you do something, Allah either likes it or thumbs down, He dislikes it. So many people are famous in the eyes of people and they're disgraced in the eyes of Allah. Many people. And many people are disgraced in the eyes of Allah, similarly, and they're famous by people. So we must look at our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first and foremost. Because ultimately, we will be returning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It would be a nice thing if those people that followed us and liked us could reward us on the day of Qiyamah, but they can't. Right? Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can do that. So ibadah comes first. Also, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. We haven't created man and jinn except that they worship us. The primary purpose of creation, of us getting up in the morning, if you feel you have no purpose, the primary purpose is to be a slave to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the primary purpose, the ultimate purpose for which we were created. So this is لِيَعْبُدُونَ, to be a slave, to perform ibadah, to be a slave to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and therefore it is preceded before all other facets of deen. Now, if you look at the ibadah, there's various types of ibadah. You get ibadah, which I mentioned last week, is weekly, monthly. You get one that is yearly, but there's one that is daily, which is salah, and there's one that comes, takrar, and it comes continuously, which is also which is salah. So salah is given the primary focus of ibadah. So we want to start with salah, but we can't start with salah first because the key to salah is tahara. You have to be clean. And if you want to be clean, you need to know how to take wudu, right? And that is why we start discussing wudu first. So this is how our main discussion will go. We're first going to discuss wudu, right? Any questions? No questions? So, you find Imam al-Quduri, he first starts with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. He starts with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. And why does he start with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim? And all kitabs, all fiqh books, no matter what madhab you're dealing with, they will start with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Why start with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim? Because of the sunnah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He says that whatever doesn't start with the basmalah, for what it is cut off. If you don't say Bismillah with anything you're doing, it is cut off. How can you write a fiqh book for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to benefit the slaves of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so they can get closer to Allah, and we don't start with a basmalah? By saying Bismillah, with this would be, you are joining the Rahmah of Allah found in His names Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim to the action that you are doing. So when you say Bismillah when you drive, it's like Bismillah Rahman Rahim, Arkab Ajraya. Bismillah Rahman Rahim, Aktub, I write. Bismillah Rahman. So basically that's what they're saying. Bismillah Rahman Rahim, Aktub, I'm starting to write. So that is why this Faqih and Imam Al-Quduri starts with the Basmala, Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Then before he starts speaking, he quotes a verse of the Quran with regards to wudu. And this is a famous, this is a verse that you can all check up. So I'm going to mention a few things here, obviously not taking notes, but there's one or two things that you can remember. Suratul Ma'idah, verse 6, if you check this out, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, or you believe, which is very interesting. Because whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about actions that you must do and not do, He always speaks about Iman. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, or you who have Iman. This is already a proof for those who want to separate Iman and actions. There are people today, they have Iman. But when it comes to the do's and don'ts of Islam, they separate that. So, no, Iman is in my heart. But, I'll perform my salah, whatever in the masjid. When I go out there, that's my thing. It's not your thing. Everything is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's thing. If you're a person of Iman, then the ibadah and the fiqh, the do's and don'ts will accompany you wherever you go. And if you don't take that wherever you go, if you don't take it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not with you, but is stuck over there. So, the verse is, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, idha qumtum ila salati. When you stand up for salah, idha qumtum ila salati. In other words, when you want to perform salah, then what should you do? Faghsilu, you must wash. Okay, faghsilu, you must wash. According to Abu Hanifa and his two companions, according to Abu Hanifa, water must, it's called isala, it must be sprayed over the limb, right? According to some other Hanafi scholars, there must be at least 2 drops coming from them, okay? The same tune with the Shafi'i madhab, and they don't make the stipulation of 2 drops that falls. So basically when you wash, it means water must go over the limb, you must wipe it over the limb, water must pass over the limb. So that's what ghusl means. Okay, ghusl is to wash something. So if I take water on my hand and I make soap right on my hand, then I didn't wash my hand, I wiped my hand. It's wiping, it's must. That's called must. Right? Isaba is just to touch the one wet limb with the other wet limb, that is called wiping. Right? That is not washing. Washing is when you take water and you put the water over the limb and the water moves on the limb. That's called washing. Okay? That's the difference between ghusl and wiping. So the verse is, Faghsilu, wash wujuhakum, wash your faces. We're going to speak about what is considered the face very soon. Wa aydiyakum, and wash your hands. Now the hands, this was confusing. You know, when I was young, when we speak about a hand in English, this is most your hand, from the fingertips to the wrist, right? And then your forehand is from your wrist to your elbow, then your upper arm is from the elbow to the shoulder. Now in Arabic, this whole thing is called a yad, hand. That's confusing, because now they say your hand is compulsory. So what is compulsory now? When you wash your hands first, is that compulsory? No. That's why Allah says, وَإِدْيَكُمْ إِلَى الْمَرَافِقِ, wash your hands or your arms until the elbows, which means what is compulsory? It's from your fingertips until and including the elbow, right? That is what is compulsory. Okay, so that must also be washed. So you got وَإِدْيَكُمْ إِلَى الْمَرَافِقِ, then Allah says وَامْسَحُوا, and then wipe بِرُؤُوسِكُمْ, wipe your heads, wipe your heads. There's a differences of opinion over here of what is considered as wiping. I mentioned that at the beginning of the class. We'll go into detail, a little bit more detail tonight inshallah before Isha, of what is considered according to this, the Hanafi madhab, of what is wiping the head. So you have to wipe your head. وَأَرْجُلَكُمْ, and your, so this is strange. You got here, wipe your heads and your feet. But if you don't understand Arabic, it's almost like it was wipe your head and your feet. Right? But it's not. It's وَأَرْجُلَكُمْ. It's not وَأَرْجُلِ. If it was وَأَرْجُلِكُمْ, you could say yes, it's a connection. But it's أَرْجُلَكُمْ, which means this and is connected to washing. Right? It's connected to washing. Okay? So you must wash your hands, your face, your hands, and wash your feet. Okay? You can't wipe your head and your feet. Okay? This is taken from the Arabic. Now, just to be like technical. So there is a qira'ah, a different, there's different qira'ah, right? There is qira'ah that say, وَأَرْجُلِكُمْ. Now it's almost like you must wipe your head and your feet. That's also an authentic narration. It's not the ones we read, but it's also authentic narration. But we need to answer to that. And can you wipe your feet? The answer is no. The answer is you mustn't be excessive in washing your feet to such an extent that it's almost like you're wiping it. That's some answers that we can give if you have a confusion. You must still wash your feet, but you must wash it almost like you're wiping it. Don't go extreme. But when it comes to washing your feet, that's when you use most water. Try it to see if you can wash your face easily. When it comes to washing your feet, because all of the nooks and crannies in your feet, you tend to sometimes go excessive. You mustn't be excessive in washing your feet. So I spoke a lot, just to be simple. 3 things is compulsory. You must wash your face, hands, which means your arms and your feet. In al-Ka'bayn, right? Wash your feet until and including the ankles must be washed. And as for the head, must be wiped. So according to Abu Hanifa, these 4 things are compulsory. Ghusl, washing the face, the arms, and the feet, and then wiping the head. Those 4 things, according to Abu Hanifa, is what is known as fard. Okay, is what is known as fard. Now, if you want to understand the Hanafi madhab, you have to get technical. Why must you get technical? Because we live among Shafi'iyya and the Shafi'i lives amongst the Hanafiya. So sometimes one word has different meanings. This is a word that has a different meaning in the Hanafi madhab. Okay? We don't have the differentiation in the Shafi'i madhab. So this can be confusing, and that's why I'm mentioning that. I'm not mentioning it to make confusion, right? So what is fard according to the Hanafi madhab? So let's hear what is fard. When you say something is fard according to the Hanafi, what does it mean? What is that? Let's say with regards to wudu, and Abu Hanifa says the face is fard, the arms is fard, the feet is fard, and wiping the head is fard. What does it mean? Compulsory, right? But there's a difference between fard and wajib in the Hanafi madhab. Both is considered as compulsory. So this will be something, sometimes just little, not confusing, but some understanding is considered or needed. So, fard, when you're speaking in terms of the Hanafi madhab, there's 2 types of things that is fard. The first type of fard is that which is called fard qat'i. Okay? Let's call this very fard, very compulsory. This means that the proof is undeniable. The proof is undeniable. So where is this coming from? Quran. Nobody can dispute this is evidence. Nobody under the sun can dispute that this is evidence. So Abu Hanifa brings proof that this is far from Quran, undisputed. Right? Now what does he mean? What does wajh mean? And what does the face mean? What does the arms mean? It's undisputed as well. So you've got evidence that is undisputed. You can admit this into the court of law. So imagine you are making an argument. You want to make an argument, right? Say Abu Hanifa is a lawyer, he wants to make an argument. He brings in evidence. So let's say he wants to bring in evidence from another book, from the Injil. Say, no, this is Islam. We're not using, this is the Sharia of Muhammad, we don't want to use the Injil. You can't use the Torah, you can't use the Injil. That's not evidence. Okay, let's bring Quran. Okay, now we can admit this as evidence. So this evidence is acceptable, it's undisputed. But still, what does it mean? So he says the face is fard, and it becomes very clear in the Quran, it's wajh. It's very clear, it's the feet until the ankles. It's very clear to wipe the head, right? So this is undisputed, the meaning is undisputed. Now he uses the word fard, which means if you deny that washing the face is compulsory, then you're out of the fold of Islam. Why? Because we said Allah said so, and Allah can't have a double meaning. You want to say, no, Allah don't mean that. When you say something like that, when Allah says something that doesn't have a double meaning, then it's called, according to Abu Hanifa, that is fard. So which means if you deny it, you're out of the fold of Islam. That's called fard qat'i. Right? Then there's something that's called fard dhanni. Dhanni or ijtihadi. Meaning, so let me just explain this to you, and then we can look at the technical terms. Abu Hanifa has another word of saying fard, which he also uses as wajib, right? He said, look, this is also fard, but If you deny this, you're not out of the fold of Islam. So how come? You say, look, we say washing the face or washing, he says wiping the head, that is compulsory. Right? The evidence is here. But what is considered wiping the head? Now, this is not so clear. It's not so clear of what part of the head you must wipe, how much of the head you must wipe, what's considered. That's not so clear. You see, yes, this is also fun, but this is my ijtihad, this is my scholarly, what they call jurisprudence investigation. This is my scholarly investigation. This is what I come up with. I say that's also fun, but if you deny this, you're not out of the fold of Islam. You must also do it, but you're not out of the fold of Islam if you deny what I'm saying. You understand? So it's both fun. The one if you deny it, out of the fold of Islam. The one if you deny it, you're still alright. Okay? So that is they make the differentiation between fard and wajib. Sometimes it's called fard qat'i and fard dhanni. If you think I'm getting technical, this is the Hanafi madhab, this is the Hanafi madhab. So we need to understand in that particular terms. So, if we say what is fard in wudu, yes, all those things mentioned, the face, the arms, and the feet, wiping the head, that is fard. As for what and how much must we wipe, it's also fard, but it's not so fard. You understand? You must follow it, but it doesn't mean you're out of the fold of Islam if you deny it. I'm not going to make this differentiation all the time. This is just for your interest sake, to show you how the madhaib and the technical terms that they use. Coming back to the practical application of fiqh, which is what I was requested to do, not to talk about all this technical stuff. So, yeah. Let's look at the Hajj al-Wajh. What is the stipulation of the Wajh? When Allah says, wash your face, what is considered as the face? Okay? It's from the manbat here, the sathu, this the hairline over here, right? If you don't have it, it's where the hairline should usually be to the bottom of the chin, right? That is the vertically. Now horizontally is sometimes a confusion because this is here is called a sideburns here, right? I know it's called an ambiguity, I forgot. So I forgot what it's called, or something like that. Anyway, it's not between here and here, it's between the earlobe and the earlobe. So this here is also part of your face. So if you wash just like this here, right? Then you haven't washed your face completely. It has to be from the horizontally from ear to ear. So this is vertical over here, horizontal from the side to the side. Why? Because wajh is normally what you face, and that's normally what you see. So that is the hadu wajh. Okay. So that has to be washed. Okay. And then the next thing we have to look at, when it comes to the arms, right? It's including the elbows. So it's not up until the elbows. Normally, some people, they are too lazy. When they pull up their sleeves, it can't go further than this. Does that work? They got the suit on, right? They don't want to go further than this. So what they do is they try to go up until here. Right? It has to include the elbow. This is the joint, the elbow joint over here. It's not up until, right? This ila, this means until and including. The elbow must be washed. So from the tips of the fingers up until the elbows. The same with the ankles, not until the ankles, including the ankles as well. Okay. When it comes to wiping the head, okay. When it comes to wiping the head, according to Abu Hanifa, the Hanafi madhab, the amount of what should be wiped, right, is enough for your hand to go on your forehead, right, which is usually a quarter. So if you put your hand like this, right, from the hairline to here, that will be a quarter of your head, right? So you must, because there's a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, the hadith where the Prophet ﷺ, he came to the subaqah of a people. So he made a number one, right? Urinated, وَتَوَضَّعَ, and then he took wudu, وَمَسَحَ عَلَى نَاصِيَتِهِ وَخُفَّيْهِ. Then the Prophet made mas on his. So the Prophet urinated. This is one of the proofs of the Hanafi madhab that they're using. There's other proofs as well. The Prophet urinated, right? And after he urinated, he took wudu, but he hadn't khufs. So when he wiped, he only wiped his forelock, which is this front part over here, right? The forelock. This is the front part of your head, right? And so he wiped his forelock and he wiped his khuf. So what we're taking from this hadith is you wipe the fall up. So from there we can see that that is the minimum requirement of wiping the head. That with other proofs. Other proofs that they use is that when you wiping, at least you what is considered as wiping is that your entire head must touch your hand must touch your head and all five fingers included, which is the quarter of the head. Okay? It gets a bit more technical, but the answer, the understanding over there, according to the Hanafi madhab, at least a quarter of the head must be wiped. So in Cape Town, there's this thing where we're going to swap over. You can't just swap over to a Hanafi madhab. The Hanafi wudu, which is not actually a Hanafi wudu, it's just the minimum requirement of you wiping your head is a quarter of the head. But the Sunnah, according to all madhahib, is to wipe the entire head. Right? Wipe your entire head. That is the Sunnah according to Abu Hanifa and according to all the other madhahib to wipe the entire head. Okay? The Hanafi will include the nape as well, but we'll talk about that again. So, we spoke about all four things today that is compulsory to wash. Number one is your face, right? The entire thing. Now, if you have a beard, we'll discuss that later. If you have a beard, you can either have a thick beard or a thin beard. A thick beard is when you can't see through the beard to the skin easily, right? If you can see the skin very easily, which means your beard is spaced apart, and then you must wash the face completely, right? But if you have a thick beard, you don't have to get to the skin, but you have to wipe over that particular section. You have to wipe over that particular section, right? Of the beard. All right. So we spoke about the face, the arms, everything must be washed up and including the ankle. We spoke about the feet, the entire feet must be washed up and including the ankle. And you have to wipe, the minimum requirement to wipe the head is a quarter. Okay? Any questions there? How much time do I have left until the show? I have 16 minutes left. 6 minutes left. Okay. Let's, yeah, go for it. What? Mood. To give you the exact measurements, I'm going to have to check it out, but the mood is about a half a liter or just over half a liter. It's a scoop of the. Look, the idea with it is, so people are selling this stuff called mood, right? So the idea is just to stick to the minimum requirement of taking a ghusl, right, or wudu, with what the Prophet ﷺ used, and that was more or less the measurement that he used, right? So we open this wudu. I'm not. I'm speaking correctly. That is wudu or ghusl. The one is a mud. It's a, it's 2 hands full of water. I'll check the exact stipulation for you. It's escape. Mm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. People open the tap and the water just comes out. So yeah. You know, the Prophet he cautioned somebody taking wudu in the river. And he was making his salah. And so he told the Prophet like me, he said, so he said there's a salah for taking wudu. You see, the idea is the water is plentiful, but that's not that thing. The thing is, are you grateful now in using what Allah subhanahu has made plentiful? So you as an individual, you might be being ungrateful for the amount of water that you have. So the idea is always use a little water, whether there's a lot of water or a little water. We always use our resources sparingly. But that good question, I'll get back to the exact stipulation. Mm. Yeah, that's a tricky one. You use a lot of water over there, so it's difficult. It's difficult. So understand the water must move on your foot from one section to another section, so that can make you don't have to drip off. The water must just move. So if you put it on your toe, between your toes, it must move. Right? It must move at least, and then the foot is washed. You don't have to see it dripping off. According to some scholars of the Hanafi, Abu Yusuf and Ibn Muhammad ibn Hasan al-Shaybani said they must drip. Abu Hanifa said don't have to drip. Yes, I'm a Hanafi. So, let me just do this one there quickly. What do you say, 2 minutes left? 46? 46. Okay, I'll stop in the next 2 minutes. Let's do the sunnah of wudu right now. What is sunnah again according to the Hanafiya? I'm not going to say this every time. This is now because we are starting. So now they mean something. The Hanafiya means something, right? When they speak about sunnah. So when they speak about sunnah, they say that is what the Prophet ﷺ usually did. What the Prophet ﷺ usually did, and sometimes he will leave it out. Right? We also say it is sunnah. If you got the sunnah, mu'akkad and very mu'akkad, for them the word sunnah means something that the Prophet ﷺ, usually did and he really left out. It's like the sunnah mu'akkad. Right? So this is what is sunnah according to the Hanafiya. Okay. So sunan of tahara is washing the hands first, and here we're going to stop. Washing the hands, right? But up until when? Because the hands from the fingertips to the to the shoulders. Before you take wudu, you wash your hands first, right? Aylan rusakh up until here. And the proof, what's the proof of that? Because usually, this is what we're going to use to wash. Not going to use this to wash. We're going to use the hands to wash. So before you wash something, you must wash your hands first. Like a guy said, tell a doctor, every guy touches sore, whole body sore. So they find out his foot is broken, right? So first make sure your hand is clean. Otherwise you're going to spread the dirt everywhere. So wash your hands before you put it into a container 3 times. Okay? Before you put it into a container 3 times. It's obvious. If you put your dirty hands in the container, you're gonna make the container dirty. Especially if it's a little water. Right? You make everything dirty. So you pour the water out or you scoop water out. Check this out. If you put your hand in the water and you intend to wash your hands in the water, then that water becomes used. But if you take that water out and you intend to wash your hands outside the water, the water is still usable. You with me? So you must wash your hands 3 times before you put it into a container 3 times. إذا استيقظ المتوضئ بنومه. This is from the Hanafi madhab. When you wake up from your sleep, this makes you think that you don't have to wash it when you don't go sleep. In other words, if you're not sleeping, you don't have to wash your hands. But this is not what the Hanafiya mean. What the Hanafiya mean is that sometimes when you're sleeping, you think I don't need to wash my hands because I was sleeping. So no, it's more emphasized that you must wash your hands because the Prophet ﷺ says you don't know where your hands did. Right? So you don't know what najasa could be found on your hand. So wash your hands before you put it into a container 3 times. Also somebody else who wants to use it, it might be very harmful to them. We'll leave it over there inshallah. So Jazakallah khair for the opportunity. So inshallah, this is the first official class of just an introduction. So we'll see how it goes inshallah. Right? Hopefully the class will go and you can take it from there. Any questions you have, you can bring it to the class inshallah, you can discuss it. Jazakallah khair.